Yo, it's your boy here to talk about Drag Race reunion show. And I just literally realised this, like I left my notes downstairs, so I'm going to go get that while you guys introduce yourselves. So yeah, go through one by one. Also, there wasn't really much to say, but I don't know, we'll talk. Also, hi Kurt, thanks for being around. So yeah, go through one by one, introduce yourself. So like Sis, whoever's hiding behind the bear, Horatio, go through, introduce yourself. So I'll be back in 1 second.
Hi.
Go on, Sis. There you go.
Make it quick, everyone! Quick!
Hi. Yasmin, I'm always here.
Go through.
Hi, it's Horatio. It's me.
Arathi, I think you said something just now, but you're still on mute, so we couldn't hear you.
Oh,
So I'm going to
no.
go first.
Can you hear me
Top
now?
of the week is I'm Luke. Hi. And also lovely comment, Kurt. Yes, we feel the same. Obviously, we're here.
Hello, it's Nina and Quarantina, also known as Floppy Bob. Hello.
Right, I'm going to assume that went very well. Oh,
Horatio, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining.
So we can't seem to hear Arathio even when he turns himself off mute.
I can hear it.
Oh, can you?
I heard him
Yeah,
just
I
now.
can't hear him at all.
Yeah.
I can hear him.
That's weird. I can't hear him at all. Nothing. I can hear everyone
I had
else
that
except
problem the other week with Grant and Horatio. Are you on your phone?
Yes.
I had the same. I have to do mine on the laptop, otherwise Grant and Horatio always no sound. I don't know why.
How bizarre.
It's pretty weird. Maybe try leaving and coming back if it keeps going on.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. See what happens.
Cool.
Yeah.
Or we can just like translate. So I'm assuming the intro went really well whilst I was gone. Everything's going great so far.
Better even.
Awesome. Love that
Yeah, actually, it's just
channel.
taking a nosedive. Sorry.
Oh no. So yeah, I've got notes, but like not basically. Let's talk about what we thought of the reunion generally, because TBH, like it got me for another hour of life. But one of the most boring reunions we've had yet, right? Like nothing particularly. There's no juice. There's no drama. Like nothing of interest really happened, in my opinion. Like it's all fun, and we talk about it, but like there wasn't any like Valentina moments. Like everyone seemed to actually love each other, you know. So.
Like that, is it?
You don't
Wait,
love
my
me.
giving me pain. Wait. Oh.
You don't love
Okay,
me.
thank
You
you.
don't love me.
Exactly, that's the reference. Also, thanks, Sis. That was really added a lot to the conversation. So, who wants to talk about their thoughts of the episode overall, generally first? Someone put their hand up for me. Go on, Luke. Luke, then.
I reckon, as we're all finding by interacting via Zoom, you just miss so much of the interpersonal communication, and it's just so much harder to have like certainly a coherent group chat, but even one-to-one, it's just not the same. And so I reckon if like some of the comments that were being shared between some of the queens, like Aiden and Britta, for example, who still I don't particularly care for even after this episode. Apparently there's some tea to spill on that later from someone or some ideas. But I can just see maybe if like Aiden and Britta had been sat opposite each other, not side to side on a little square, it might have felt a bit more adversarial, like they could have maybe worked it up a bit. You'd feel the tension from the other side of the room. People might have argued more. Maybe that was just lacking from this.
But has this season been that dramatic anyways? Like, there hasn't been a lot of fighting in general. I don't know if it's because I haven't seen the Untucked episodes, but I feel like there hasn't been any high drama. Like, there hasn't been any shoutings or anything like that.
No, I feel like again I haven't seen Untucked either, but I feel like the stuff like where it did go off a couple of times, like Heidi and that. I felt like again I haven't seen Untucked, so I can't say for sure, but I felt like it was sort of resolved at the time. You know, like I don't think there's really like much post. It's obvious they all like each other, right? Like Gigi and Heidi went out, like they talked it out. Like it's obvious they like each other, and there's no lingering drama there. It was more just like we have no other drama to talk about, so let's talk about that drama. You know, like all the drama they talked about felt like that to me. Like nothing was actually engaging for me, drama wise. Right, that's what you want from the reunion. You want the drama.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Got a ratio.
Yeah, I think that it was actually. I mean, it was alright for what could have been done. I know that technicalities are not ideal, but I think with what we had, it was quite entertaining. I was engaged all throughout. I cared for what they had to say, and like Yas said, there just hasn't been that much drama this season. I remember when Miss Cracker introduced them back in February in that YouTube video, she did say, "I hear that it's a very loving season." So I think it's just clear that there was not that much drama to start with. But that said, I thought the reunion, the reunion was okay. There was a little bit of drama with Aiden and Britta and this and that. Not massive drama, not iconic moments like season 9 Valentina or season 10 the Vixen, of course. And we all live for those. But hey, it was still entertaining. And kudos to the producers for going ahead with the Zoom thing. I thought it was very well executed, and I thought the Shady Bunch intro, I really liked it. Kurt said he didn't like it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
That's a good segue, actually. So, should we start off talking about the format? That is the first thing I wanted to talk about, what we thought of it. Because, like, I do agree. I personally think, like, they did the best given the situation, kind of thing. It was clever to go with slumber party theme. I'd heard that talked about before the episode, so I expected it. I think, like, it was sort of done pretty well generally. I think the issue, what I was saying previously, was more just like I don't think it would have really been like that much better if it was an in-person thing. I feel like it was just a case of there not being a ton of drama generally that's particularly interesting to go through. But in terms of the format, I think it was. I think it's pretty good. So Luke, we're just talking about what we thought of the format of the reunion in terms of like being over Zoom and that. Also, first of all, it wasn't actually Zoom, right? There's no way, because again, like like this, like if you talk over each other, you get cancelled out and that. Like, I wonder what technology it actually used.
It wasn't Stream, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh God. Can you hear Luke? Can you hear? You can hear him.
Yes, I can hear him. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Great.
that's really weird. Yes, I honestly don't know all of these technologies have some sort of issue. I don't know what they were using, and also it's weird. I would assume they would have sent all the Queens of camera along with their like shitty glasses thing. You know, but obviously the quality did vary quite a bit between the Queens. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Grant.
Oh, so it's Yas's connection. Oh my God! Right, we have to persevere. Be British about it. What's it? Keep calm and carry on in that. So Luke, do you want to start talking about what you thought of like the format they went for this reunion, given the circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, what else can they do, really? Like, I think we had a chat on WhatsApp during the episode where we were sort of wondering, is there much point of just dragging it out? But maybe there's a commitment that they have had to the station where they need to provide so many episodes, and so therefore they're contracted to provide this one and the finale next week, maybe. I mean, it's like you said, it wasn't a particularly dramatic season, so there's not so many fights to rehash. Although I noted Kurt's comments in the chat to say all of Aiden's wigs in the background, all of Aiden's wig, time and time again, like one after the other, was quite funny. And it's fine. I mean, in a way, we kind of got to interact. I sort of like how they talked a bit about what everyone's in quarantine and where they're all quarantining and what their experiences have been like with it. So that feels a little bit connected as a fandom as well. But I mean, there have been better ones. Like I said before, you don't get the same group interactions as you would otherwise. So that's a detractor. But what can you do?
Yeah, I agree. Suter, do you want to go next? I mean Crystal.
Call me Suter again. God, I regret this already. Can I just say, Kurt, we can't reply to you or something in the chat, just so Kurt knows. I can't reply to Kurt in the chat anyway. I thought it was all right. Do you know what I mean? They had lemons, they made lemonade. I mean, that's all it was. I don't know what they used though, because it was really high quality cameras, weren't it? Because they all look really nice. You could see all the details in their looks and that, which is what mattered. And it was just a bit lackluster. But I think, like you said, it would have been the same in person. I think they would have argued more in reality though, like because they did the jokey argument thing. It just wouldn't have worked because you can't really talk over each other on the Zoom thing. It doesn't work.
Yeah, Nina.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of thinking. I kind of feel the same. Like Horatio said, like it's not easy for them to do it via that, and I think it was always going to be a little bit kind of sewn together. Obviously always a bit different compared to like a regular season like reunion, but I think they did pretty well. I think like they had. I like that they at least tried to kind of create moments within it. So as much as it wasn't my favorite thing, I thought it was actually quite cute in a very campy, kitschy kind of way to have the like the Shady Bunch intro. Like not my favorite thing, but like I'm really glad that they went for it to kind of actually add something, like to create something. Because otherwise it would have been quite awkward just sort of coming in on like Rue on Zoom being like, "Hi, we're having a reunion," and then like 12 queens calling in. It would have just been a bit weird. So, and I think is Luke doing something about the mask as well. Who knows? Who knows what was going on with the mask? My guess is it's meant to be like a high fashion version of like a nighttime face mask kind of thing, but like as a campy twist on it. I don't know. He just looked more like Lucha Libre, but like he's got the money to do that now. So yeah.
Well, sorry, where are you getting high fashion from? Like honestly,
I mean, I like a high fashion attempt. Like I don't think it necessarily succeeded at being high fashion, particularly as there was like a line where you could see exactly where it had been sewn. Like, but I don't know. Like, I would guess it was like a
huge tie back there.
Sorry, say again. You guys spoke over each other. Sorry, Rachel, you go first.
No, I was just saying on RuPaul that I could see her eye bags. They were huge.
The shade. Oh my god. I was gonna say. I think
like
yes.
long night fucking, you know.
It looked more like a what's it like Nacho Libre mask, right?
Well, I wonder
Like
too.
most
Like
of
her
them.
cheeks look really puffy under there too. Maybe she just looked awful. maybe she's been quarantining hard and she's just not been waking up. Oh, by the way, Kurt, you're not all alone. You're here with us. Kurt's in the chat by himself. I would love to type, but Kurt, it's Grant isn't letting me. It's Grant's fault.
I've checked the settings. There's nothing I can do. Kurt. But it's all right. I can still type, and I like having all the power, so it's fine. I was gonna say, Yas did apologise. Yas said a connection shit, and she's had to bail. I said try again, but she's apologised. So should we just go through like I've written some notes as we went through the episode. Should we go through like just chat about the things and see what we think? Cool. Okay.
Guide us.
Sorry.
Guide us.
I will guide you. I will always guide you. Okay. So I think it was actually one of the things that was probably funny about the whole Zoom thing was the intro where Ruth said, "Welcome to my home." It's just like a really shitty green screen of like where even was that? Like a really low resolution image of like a random hotel or something. But I just like how serious she was about that. I thought that was probably funny actually. As the intro. We talked about the face mask.
The green screen because to stop all the fracking equipment being on show for legal reasons.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so my first note is like Aiden got sorry, go on, Luke, go.
Sorry, I have a question before you start, and it's a question from Kurt. Kurt's wondering whether you are either a control freak or a dom.
Can you not be both?
Maybe you can. This is the question posed to you. Please explain.
Dominating control freak. I'll take that as a title.
Is that both? Kurt's just asking. Grant is a control freak, I see, or a dom. So I'm just curious. The people want to know which is it.
I'm a lady in the sheets and a freak on the streets. That's what I normally go for generally.
I want to see that on the next shirt that I see you.
All right, that's done. What was I saying? Oh, so originally the first like segment we got from like a solo queen was Aiden. Which I'm sure we were all very grateful for. So my first note is that Aiden was still joy, very entertaining to watch, very engaging. Thank you very much. I don't know. I thought it was really great that she got that time. What do you guys think?
Oh, Aiden, such a ray of sunshine, jolly, happy soul.
I thought what Bob wrote was really funny in when we were chatting. What was it like? It's amazing how she immediately sucks the fun out of any situation. Still, it's right out. Like it was like a fun, like campy sleepover vibe. Well, like I wouldn't go that far. That's like being kind, but you know what I'm saying. And then Ada comes on. It's just like she's just not in the zone at all. She's just like not on that level. You know, she couldn't get there. She kind of did a little bit throughout the call. I thought cool. But especially initially, it just went from like here to like here, and like yeah, come on, Bob.
And I was gonna basically say, yeah, like it was kind of odd because like I felt it's probably quite odd because I don't know if she has the same relationship with the other queens as they have with each other. So it was kind of weird, like, you know, when the first few queens came on, everyone was like, ha ha ha, yeah, oh, yeah, you know, like I know you. And then Aiden comes on and everyone's like, yeah, she's my sister. Like it was a bit off, which I felt bad for her. Like she, like, because I thought at least she like was sort of poking fun at herself by having just a wall of black wigs behind her, 3 of which looked identical. Like I thought, like, okay, she's poking a bit of fun at herself. Either that or completely delusional and doesn't realize that she's reading herself. But like either way, I was like, it was always going to be a bit of a weird thing to have someone like her on the reunion, because like her relationship with everybody during the season was already quite weird, and especially with the fandom was quite weird. So like that was always going to have to be something that the reunion would have to try to kind of reconcile in some ways.
I've not got much to add, but I thought her little video which she did when she was saying, "Oh, I'm used to this kind of thing," was kind of cute. I laughed at that. I think she came off a little bit better than she's been portrayed so far. Even though she wasn't very energetic, but that's just not her. I don't know. I thought it was fun to watch that video.
Yeah, I think she's nice. Kurt's saying that he has always been an Aiden fan, and I can see it. Like she's nice, and there's some quirkiness about it. It's just so funny though to me. Like her energy is definitely much smaller than those in the room, and that really makes a difference on TV and on stage and in a performance. Whereas like Britta, much as I don't particularly, I'm not here for Britta. The smile is always on and it's always big, and so you always know that someone's engaging with you. Whereas Aiden's a bit kind of like this, and it's just so funny. Like I want to like. It's funny that her eye makeup goes exactly vertically, because I see that her eye energy kind of goes exactly down, and maybe that's why she goes up so high to compensate. I don't know, but I like. Okay, I'm sure she's a nice person, and I like some of the looks and some of the makeup, and I thought her makeup was pretty tonight, but I want more than that.
Okay, so this is controversial, standard. Like I don't know. I think when you mentioned Britta, like it kind of like something clicked for me a little bit. I think it's a kind of similar thing, but just not execute, like expressed differently. I think to me, Aiden feels like she is like hiding behind the mask kind of thing, like not literally with her makeup. I mean, in terms of like being very quiet and not really like getting involved. You know, like I feel like she's not really connected with herself, and that's why she didn't really connect with any of the other queens particularly. You know, I feel like I don't think she is delusional. I think she's actually like she seems to be a smart person. I just don't think she like has a read on herself yet, and I think that's like preventing her from like fully grasping the situation and also like connecting with other people, including the audience and including her fellow queens. I don't know. That's my like read of the situation personally. So, anyone have anything else to want to add about Aiden, or should we move on to the next point? Oh, hey, new people in chat. Hey, Rex Trek. So sorry, sorry, I looked away when I asked that question, which is really bad. Does anyone have anything want to add, or shall I move on? Right, move on. Let's get through this. Okay, Crystal's look. Yeah, that was great. We all love that. Should we talk about the looks? Yeah, let's. Okay, instead of going through one by one, let's give our general thoughts on the looks. Who wants to go first? Go on, Sua.
I just give everyone a number. Nikki, 6 out of 10. Jackie, 6 out of 10. Jan, 6 out of 10. Britta, 6 out of 10. Aiden, 8 out of 10. Gigi, 9 out of 10. Dahlia, 7 out of 10. Widow, 8 out of 10. Jaden, 9 out of 10. Crystal, 100,000 out of 10. Rockham, 6 out of 10. Heidi, 8 out of 10.
Okay, that was quick, but I agreed with about half of that. Who wants to go next? Okay, literally no. I'll give my thoughts and you guys can put a hand up afterwards then. So like out of that list, it reminded me. So I think the two I want to talk about are like Rock. Like I don't get it. Like I don't know. I feel like she did really quirky makeup and then she did like beauty makeup on the show. I felt like this is kind of a combination of the two, but it didn't really work for me. Like she had always like white in the center of her face, like just pure white. It wasn't. I don't know if it's like a comment on like too much like concealer or highlighter or something. I don't really know like what she was trying to do, but it just didn't look good to me. And oh damn, there's one other one in that list I wanted to talk about as well, but I've totally forgotten. So if you guys talk about what you thought of the looks, and I'll hopefully remember. Go on, Horatio.
I just think I didn't rank them or anything. Thank you, Adam Sudekin, for making us look bad. I just thought that actually the top three made the most effort, didn't they? Like Gigi was in proper like sleepover fashion. Obviously, Crystal Method, funny, campy, and also Jada. I can't really think of any others that. Oh well, actually, I really enjoyed Jan's. Yeah, Jan. I really like Jan because with the rollers and her own sort of robe and all that. So yeah, those four I would say. And then on a negative note, I would say Brita. What was Brita wearing? Like, did she not get the memo? Like, it was just too much for that, wasn't it? Like, she was even below RuPaul, I think. So yeah, those are my 2 cents.
I was gonna say, I'll say exactly the same with Widow as well. Like Widow had like the curlers and shit, and that looked like sleepover theme. And she had like sparkly gown on underneath.
Yeah,
like,
Widow too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not. You're not going to a sleepover in that. Go on, Luke.
Yeah, I think Brita was just doing Brita, which is big, big, big everything. Big smile, big teeth, big, loud volume, everything all the time. Shh. I love Jan's look too, and way to get the merch out there. I mean, face crack gown. I mean, look, I don't have a wish list on Amazon, but like, if you want to get it for me, I'll give you my address. This is basically what's going to happen. Because what an amazing thing. And like, I love it when the queens really celebrate the bits that they're like, that they should least want to remember about the show, but they totally plaster all over everything. And I just love it. And yeah, so I really enjoyed Jan's look. Also, just Jan's face is wonderful. I thought Heidi's face was beautiful tonight. It was very pretty. I thought it was interesting, like I always do on Zoom as well, is to look into their living rooms, like watching how they've decorated their place. I liked Jackie's look. Actually, Jackie's face was quite nice tonight as well, which I wouldn't have always said. I agree with the chat that's going on as well. Rue's look, I think, was lazy. I think maybe she just didn't want to get in makeup anymore, so like, I'll just put a face bikini on, fine. Yeah, that's me.
Why not just put an actual face mask on? Why do that weird face bikini thing? I don't get it. Like, just put a face mask on. It made literally no sense to me. Bob, do you want to say anything about looks?
I pretty much agree with everything that's been said. I do think Ruse was a weird one because knowing that everyone's going to have that theme, you don't want to do it, but do it worse than them, right? So I kind of get why the face bikini was done as a kind of defense mechanism almost. But I say this wearing a RuPaul t-shirt currently that I got for my birthday. I feel quite conflicted about it. It says Saint RuPaul, and I'm like, is she a saint? Is she really? Anyway, where was I? Yeah, I thought they were quite fun. Like, I really loved Jada's. I thought it was just super cute to have like the pillow framing her from behind with a little eye mask kind of thing, just like perched on her head perfectly. Reminds me of all the little perfection and details that I love from Jada. And Crystal's was just like that was how Crystal was going to do it. Like, of course, we're going to get kind of a Christmas Carol kind of style thing on that. So yeah, I kind of thought it was quite fun. And yeah, Jan, that like I do also need that merch, Luke. So I will either fight you for it or I'll like buy it and send it to you and then like, pick it up later. Oh yeah, well I'll get yeah, we can buy that. Yeah.
I was like, I've literally not used the face. Oh, sorry, Luke, go on.
Sorry, I don't know if anyone knows a British queen by the name of Lavoie. She's actually worked with the London Gay Men's Chorus before. She has posted a little, I don't know if it's a TikTok or if it's just like a Facebook video. And she's walking through a park. Her thing is that she's got a great big bright red bob, and she's got basically the color of RuPaul's face bikini on her face, but it's sort of painted all over her face. And she's just talking through selfie mode, like, I see, look, I know they've relaxed the lockdown measures a little bit, but I don't understand what everyone's doing out here. Like, I'm the only one wearing a face mask. No one else is wearing a face mask. I'm just trying my best. But she means like mask, MASQUE, like you know, proper like lawn, like bathroom. You put a mask on your face for 10 minutes and then you take it off. And there she's wearing her mask, her face mask. Oh, I live. So Rue could have done something like that. And maybe she needs to, because usually Rue doesn't do her own makeup, and now social distancing. So Raven can't be there to paint her face. So like, what's going to happen next week? Anyone's guess?
Very true. Although I feel like she ain't giving a shit. Like she's gonna get Ravenose to her makeup 100%. Kurt's made a good point where when a face mask dries, she can't talk a lot. That's a good point. I didn't think of that. I've not actually worn a face mask, so I wouldn't know. But I'd assume that is the case. Although, what about them like papery ones she
Crack
put
of
on?
the century.
Well, that's true. What about that's good? What done,
Well,
Luke?
to be fair, like Kimchi even has her own brand of face mask, so there's no reason not to. There's no excuse. Like half the drag queens have their own makeup brand or face mask out, so
She
But
could also have
Kimchi
worked
has
with
the
a
Korean
tutorial
one,
of
doesn't
one of
she?
the queens.
Do you say tutorial, Horatio?
Yeah, RuPaul could have watched a makeup tutorial by, I don't know, Trixie Mattel.
That'd be amazing.
You whore.
There's no way Rue's gonna use anyone else's merch at any point in her life. Okay, so should we move on to the next point? What is? I had something else. Oh, about looks. Oh, the only thing I was going to say, I said it in the chat, is Jada. Like Jada's look was very well executed, but it was literally Courtney's look she wore on the runway, but just better executed. To be fair, a lot better. Like I agree, like it was elevated version of that look, but it wasn't original. So I'm not like snapping my little hands off about it, you know. Okay, I can't actually snap anyway, so I couldn't do it if I wanted to. Oh, I thought Gigi was like Gigi's screensaver with like her logo of her name in the background. I thought that was really funny. It kind of sums her up perfectly, right? Do you guys notice that? It was literally what I would do 100%. Okay, I've just written there is no drama in capital letters. So I was bored. What we watching? Jackie. Oh yeah, go on, Luke.
I just while we're thinking of topics, and Kurt has just mentioned that Rue would look good with Sherry's makeup. I thought it was hilarious that Sherry got like such a tiny little reference, like in the reading challenge where I can't remember who it was, but someone said that Dahlia came 13th on a show that only had 12 contestants. Hilarious.
Actually, they referenced Sherry right in the beginning. In the musical number, they went, Jada suddenly butted in and went, well, technically 12.
Yes, true. But I just love that's the only reference that we get to Sherry. Just, oh, by the way, we're not 13 anymore, we're 12.
Oh, we should talk about it actually. But I was just going to say that did remind me. Dahlia's look. I didn't agree with Suki on Dahlia's look. I thought Dahlia looked really great. And I want to talk about what she said at some point as well. So that's quite interesting. But yeah, we should talk about that because I mean, like, it's weird she didn't directly address the sharing thing. I suppose my guess is because Rue is not great with any sort of controversial topic, so I feel like anything she would have said wouldn't have worked out well for her if she said what she wanted to say about it. Probably, it's weird. She's always addressed stuff previously. Like last thing I can remember is Fifi O'Hara not showing up for the reunion and like acting out kind of thing off camera, right? She's sort of there's something else after that, wasn't there? But she's always sort of addressed controversy in some way on these reunions. So it is weird for her just to not talk about it whatsoever. What do you guys think on Horatio?
I think that in this case, though, there might be litigation if she does say something. So I think she's being very cautious. I think it's quite wise of her not to delve into it at all because, I mean, I don't know what kind of contract it is drawn with the queens, but I don't know. Sherry Pie could come and say, "Oh, why have I not featured here? By my contract, I should," or I don't know. So I think she's just being cautious and is beyond any sort of regular drama that we normally get. I think she could very easily get into hot water if she's explicitly mentioned.
I think too, and I know that Rue isn't great with controversy, and she's no saint, as has been said already today. But I'd like to think also that there must be an amount of just not wanting to give her any airtime. So let's not mention her. Like let's not add to her fame because we kind of have removed her from the show because we don't feel that she deserves it.
The thing is with Sherry, I think it's partly for Sherry's protection as well, because although a lot of queens get death threats, Sherry is the worst in history if you look at the abuse she's had. And I don't care whether you think she deserves it or not, no one deserves to be talked to that way. And there were a few queens on Twitter that said they were worried that Sherry was suicidal when it first happened. So I think they're trying to distance themselves completely from her just in case, because that's the last thing the show wants to be associated with on top of this, because this season's had so much stuff going on. They want the girls not to be blamed or faulted for it. They don't want anything to overshadow it. So I think they've done it for her protection as much as the reputation.
I would just go further on from that as well, is that like they're all saying what an amazing season it is and how strong all the girls are. And I don't feel like they're just saying that to try and eclipse Sherry's controversy. I think actually it is a really strong season, but also one of the top 4 queens has been completely removed from it. So like imagine the strength of the drag that we missed out on as well, when she's the top 4 of an already really strong season that stays a really strong season even when they remove her from it. I think it goes to show actually just how strong all of the queens are.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, it does seem I don't know. I've got mixed feelings on it because I feel like she has been featured in every episode. I feel like, but obviously not in the reunion and finale. I feel like, and she was like last we saw her, she was in the top 4, right? So like, I feel like you do need to directly address it, kind of like unless they manage to cut her out every episode, or at least the last 5 episodes. Like let's say the last thing we saw in terms of like oh fuck, like what's the word? Not law, like whatever of the show is that like she's in top 4. The next thing we see is she's not there. So go on, Sue.
To be fair, in the last episode at the end, RuPaul went, "Are you team Jada, Crystal, or Gigi?" and did cut Sherry out. So, and they've put the thing at the end of every episode she's disqualified. So I think it's fine having the top 3, but I think they should have at least addressed it in the sense like we're not going to move a queen up, because acting like it didn't happen is just a bit silly. Your audience, they're like literally spilling the tea, the gossip and all that. It's a big part of the Drag Race community. So I think it's silly to treat your audience like they're thick and don't know what's going on. They should have just, nip it in the bud.
Yeah, go Bob.
I was going to say, I agree though with what Horacio was saying in terms of like distancing themselves from any potential repercussions from that. And I think also, I think it was Horacio who said that. Apologies if it was Luke. Sorry. But also, I think with it, it's also, I think it would be quite a sour note, because what can the queens say? Like if they reference it, the queens have to kind of either do, "Oh, I had this really great time with Sherry," which feels kind of weird to say, or really distance themselves from Sherry, which we also know is not true because we've seen them bonding with her over the season. I think there isn't really any way that they would have won by having, I mean, obviously they're not going to win either way, but I think her not being mentioned on there at all, as weird as it does seem, is probably the best route, just in terms of like both protecting potentially protecting Sherry herself, protecting the show from any litigation, but also just in terms of like the tone, because it's quite hard to go from when the Vixen walked out of season 10, they could still go on to other topics. I mean, it was a bit weird and awkward, but they could still, like with Sherry, it's quite hard to sort of pivot from like, and yeah, so as you know, she's not been on the show. So Aiden, your wigs, you wear the same wig, don't you? Like that's a very different kind of pivot. And I don't think they would have been, it would have felt super awkward, I think, for them to do it. So yeah, I think it was the right decision. It's just, poor season 12 have kind of been blighted by not only Sherry's thing, but also COVID-19 and everything else. So yeah, it's been a bit of a rough ride. And I think it was good that they got to just talk about happy, fun things and kind of kiki as a group of 12, as sad as it, and as weird as that must have been for the queens themselves.
Yes, so I totally agree with everything you guys said, and I do think it was the best decision to not mention it at all. But I think that is why I have mixed feelings, though, is because it does seem, it's kind of what we said like on the first stream, right, where like we can talk about Drag Race and it's fun and shit, but there's like loads of serious stuff going on like in the world generally, and also in regards to the show. So like in comparison, like we have like this reunion episode where like not much really happened, right? Like there's no like interesting like provocative conversations, whereas but if they like address like the main things that are on people's minds, both in regards to the show and like the world, the state of the world, and that. I know they asked like the queens like where they are with quarantine and that, but I don't know. I just feel like we're focusing on, what did we even focus on? I can't remember the drama they focused on. So it was so stupid. We're focusing on this like stupid drama when we haven't talked about the main issue with the show, Sherry. And we haven't really talked about like we should have a whole section on how like COVID's affecting drag and digital drag shows, and like, do you know what I mean? Like it's just like, it just seemed like fluff, which is, I kind of feel like the show's past that. Like we used to have quite a lot of fluff in the show, but we're used to more substance now. You kind of expect that. So I think that's why I have mixed feelings on it. But at the same time, like, is there a way we could have addressed it but it wouldn't have been detrimental to anyone? Probably not, right? So I don't know. Go on, Luke.
I don't know if anyone else has had this experience, but certainly in meeting on Zoom and things, I find that meetings go really fast. And it's because it cuts all of the superfluous, like, I don't know, like if you're having a meeting about something, then usually meetings, if they're all face to face, there'd be a bit of chat and then you'd have to get everyone organized. And if you're doing a stage show, there's got to be time for audience applause. And then one queen enters, one queen leaves. There's a bit of music to background. And just on Zoom, you don't have, like, there's no space for that. What do you do with that? So it's just actually all content of talking. So maybe what we're feeling too is just the difference between how it is a completely different medium, and you don't have all of the, I don't know, like even occasionally when it sort of cut to an ad break and then it came back, that sort of felt like an interruption. I don't know, I just want to see the Queen still. Whereas on the shows, there's lots of other extra bits going on all the time in post-production.
I'm not sure I agree with that. I felt like it was the reunion that I watch every season. Yeah, it was done on Zoom, but it was not different because it's still heavily edited. Like they would have talked more than that, and probably they would have said, "Can you do this? And can you say this? Can you say it now? Can you not react?" So it's all been cut down, and I still got the same feeling. And also pointing something that you said earlier, Luke, that they should have been facing each other. They kind of never do. They are sort of on those two sort of sides, so they kind of face each other, but they are at an awkward angle, and it's like, yeah, but it's all they had to say to each other, which again wasn't much because it was the nature of the season, was said, and people apologized and people accepted apologies. I was fine with it. I didn't really have an issue with it.
I think the one thing that this missed was that they can't, you know, the way they interact with each other. Because like I mean, some of the best reunions, you have like Arja actually standing up and going, and the way they interact in the seating, I think it does make a difference because it's only a small thing, but it connects things more. And like the way Trinity would butt in, because it's harder to butt in on the Zoom chat. Like you know what I mean? Because it doesn't come. It's more sloppy when it's all digital. As where in real life you can sort of hedge yourself better and you can find the right place. Where online it's more difficult, especially when you're trying to do a polished TV show.
So I just want to quickly say, so I do agree with all of that. I definitely think the medium has played a part in it, but I do think the biggest issue was like dodging the main drama and trying to sort of like contrive or extend previous drama. It genuinely was, we're saying during the chat, it's just like Ariel's wig gate again, where like half the reunion was taken up with that damn wig thing that no one cared about and didn't even make sense and whatever. It was just that again, kind of, right? It's just kind of like what we didn't watch this. So I stand by that note I wrote down. Yeah, go on, Luke.
Sorry, more from me. I think too, like Sherry's drama that's happened after the show can't have been the only drama she was involved with on the show. So that would have cut a lot of arguments and other things that might have involved her that they've now had to cancel and not refer to. I think that's one thing. And I think when I think back to one of my favorite reunion shows was season 9, where you know the "You Don't Love Me" and "Do I Look Bothered to You?" or what, do I look angry, or whatever it was. And I think you only get those reactions when you can actually stare someone down and look at them face to face and like then kind of talk to, like, cast a look to your friend who's next to you, like, come on, back me up here. You agree with what I'm saying. Whereas that's harder to do, I think, on Zoom perhaps.
I just want to quickly say, like, I totally agree, but like there was that drama wasn't addressed or brought up or even there in the first place to have those moments. So like it was in person. Sure, they could have like done those glances and stuff, but there's nothing to really like glance to your friend about because like nothing really happened. You know, that's kind of my point, I guess, right? But go on, Horatio.
Yeah, I was going to just say something very similar. Because there wasn't any drama to do a rebuttal of the retitle or to stare down at someone, there was no point for it to be that dramatic. Actually, I think we have dodged the bullet here. If it had been a lot of drama, if there had been a lot of drama in the season, then it's when it wouldn't have worked. But because there wasn't any drama, it felt like a sleepover, like where everyone was friends, and that was fine. I didn't have a problem with that.
It literally put me to sleep. Go on, Bob.
I was just going to add, like, as well, like, totally agree with what Luke and Horacio have just said. But, like, I think a really big thing on that as well is, like, if you're mean via Zoom, it feels meaner, I think.
Shut up.
Whereas, like, if in...
Show your hair
in
out.
person, it can be, like, a kind of... Fuck off, all of you.
I agree with that now. I
On
agree with that.
like in person, it can be a bit more like toing and froing. In person, it can be a bit more like kind of give and take, a bit more to and fro, right? Whereas I think via Zoom, you kind of would say something really mean and then have to like sit and wait, so it kind of hangs in the air a bit more. So I think it would, like, even Aiden and Britta's thing, like I felt like they had to dance around it so much more because it was Zoom and because it was just awkward for them anyway. But yeah,
Actually,
Leave Bob alone.
on Aiden and Brita, actually, there was a very cringy moment, which and Brita at one point reeked of desperation. So it was only when Aiden said, I love you too, I can't wait to," or I don't know, something along those lines. Then Brita went, and I love you too, yes, and I can't wait to meet you, and put on one of the, and that was cringy, and that was priceless in itself.
Yes, I think the comment was, "I can't wait to put on a kitten wig." Like, well, you could do it now. Like, you don't have to wait for Aiden to say so. Like, oh, but I've never worn one because I think it's shit. Is the subtext. But I think that's absolutely right, and like that's where the drama comes from, is when someone walks out of the room or when someone interrupts someone else, and you can't do that on Zoom. Certainly not as easily. Sorry, Bob.
Yeah, so should we move on to that then? So, why, like, what I felt like they were really trying hard. I think one of you mentioned it, right? Like, really trying hard to make Britta likable. Like for a little bit, like they even had like other queens give testimonies, and that felt really weird to me. Normally they like stick by the editing in the show and like don't try and backtrack. So I wonder if Britta's like got her lawyers in it or something. Like it just seemed a bit weird, and like I don't think she came across well from that at all. Even the testimonies, like. I don't know, like it was all just a bit weird. Like she still seems super fake, right? She's like, I acknowledge I'm a bitch, but I'm not a bitch. I don't know, like she's saying the right things, but it just seemed really, really fake to me. Sorry, someone else who put their hand up first? It was Horatio. Sorry, Horatio, then Luke.
It's me. Yeah, I had things to say about Britta. I think so because of the drama of the external drama about Britta, with allegations and all that. I think RuPaul was sort of, trying to help her, and that's when. So yes, it felt a little bit contrived and a little bit pushed for that. At one point, RuPaul said, "Oh, Jan and Jackie, you know Britta from a long time. Can you tell us why is Britta a nice, likable person?" And that felt a little contrived and a little bit forced. That said, though, I thought it was touching when they did say those things, and you could see Britta welling up. Let's not forget that, yes, she might have been the villain of the season, or she's not likable at all. Like, she didn't have to say all that rubbish in those confessionals. She could have toned it right down. But that mixed with those allegations, which, are allegations, it must have been pretty rough for her. And I'm not sort of condoning any sort of behavior that Britta has had towards Aiden. In fact, I was very against her as a character. But I think, talking about redemption and all of that, I thought it was nice that she got to a couple of colleagues, a couple of sisters saying nice things about her, and she feeling like, oh, a little bit of validation. Thank you, guys. I thought that the little question intermingled with Vanjie's question was kind of cute, and it was self-deprecating. So it was self-deprecating humor. Yes, it was. Oh, can you say something about yourself without mentioning New York City? We agree, right? It's kind of great when queens kind of laugh at themselves. You said so earlier, Luke, when they can sort of make fun of the least memorable moments. So that's an example. So I thought she came off okay out of the reunion, and I'm not gonna go and see a British show, but I like her a bit more after this episode.
I got some things to say. So while I do agree, it's great when queens sort of take the thing that was like their least positive and run with it and celebrate it. But I don't know, it was Vanjie asking a funny question, pretending to be a fan. Then it was Vanjie pretending to be another fan. Then it was Britta pretending to be a fan, talking about New York. And then Britta herself actually answered it, talking about New York. And then it was Vanjie again. I don't know, it felt a little bit like this kind of enforced redemption for Britta. Like, here you go, here's your opportunity, Britta. How about you do this funny thing and you get this funny thing from us rather than actually just going out there and getting it yourself. The other thing I was going to say about Britta is that when Jan gave her lovely story about how when she was fresh on the scene and she started singing and all she could see was Britta Filter in the back cheering loudly, and it kind of made her feel like, okay, I'm not alone here and I am supported here. And then Britta does this to Aiden, like, okay, well, all we've seen is Britta be exactly the opposite to this other queen who seems shy and scared, and everyone had agreed that she seems scared right from the beginning and is an introvert. And I don't know, it's just, okay, fine. And like Fifi O'Hara wanted to come back to All Stars to redeem herself and didn't. So like all we can see actually is you being a dick. So we're going to think of you as a dick. Maybe dick's not the right word for Britta, but you know what I mean. If you're not showing yourself at your best, then we're not seeing you at your best. So I don't know. I still didn't. Yeah, it didn't redeem her for me. So
no, same. I think they're all really good points. I totally 100% agree with everything you said. That's something like, and like when she asked the question stuff and answered, like, I don't know, it's really weird. Like what I was kind of thinking was it felt like a fake YouTube apology where they're crying and shit. Like I know she wasn't trying to apologize or anything. She was poking fun at herself. It all just seemed really fake. Like normally people poke fun at themselves. It is funny and endearing. But for me, it wasn't really. Personally, I'm just a bit like, this all feels a bit off. And like, I think maybe it was like, as Luke said, the way it was kind of like shoved in there between Vanjie's bit. And it kind of ruined Vanjie's bit as well. It's like Vanjie, Britta, Vanjie. It's like, oh, great. Love that bit now. You know, thanks, Britta. That's another thing you've ruined for everyone. So sorry, too harsh. So yeah, should we move on? Anyone? Oh, sorry, Sue, go on.
It felt like she was doing a James Charles impression every time she spoke. Because it was just like, hi there, look at me, I'm a happy, nice person. I'm not mean at all. Hi, Aiden. Oh my God, Aiden. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Is this from over yet? That's what it felt like. She was like, I found it really disingenuous. And I'm not saying she is a nasty person, because obviously, it's, you know, in the same way the show made her look evil, this was trying to make her look like an angel. You should have just had her be a bit raw. I would have rather been a bit more raw and just been much more like, I really fucked up. I did bad. I know everyone does this. And I am not a fan of her, and I'm not going to be, you know, unless she does, I don't know, unless she cures cancer.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. I think that was well, not maybe not that last bit, but that was like the one good point they made. I think who said, was it Jan? Like, you know, there is like, that was one side of Britta, but there is a lot more to it. And I totally agree with that. I think that was good to bring up. But I agree with everything you said. Go on, Bob.
So I just love what the Sutikin said. Just like, I'm now imagining like that is pretty much so with like some queens. Like that's exactly how the RuPaul's Drag Race fandom would see things. Like Britta cures cancer, and they'd be like, she's still a bitch to Aiden. Just like total, like that is, I think the fandom kind of summarized right there, isn't it? Like
Aiden didn't have cancer,
like, you know,
so it doesn't matter she cured it, okay?
Sorry, but I thought you were going to continue. Okay, you're done. Okay, great. Okay, so like next note, Jackie. I mean, this is tongue in cheek. Don't mind bringing it up, but Jackie won the reunion. Apparently, I felt that was very patronising, and I felt like she needed that, but I didn't need that. So, anyone have anything they want to say about that? I just want to be a weird bit. It was
Jan should have won.
It's just weird. It was just like a weird bit generally. I don't know. I'm just like, why is this going on? Go on, Bob.
I think they did something similar to Pandora way back in season 2, because she had like gone through the season and kind of had like a similar thing to Jackie where she'd like almost won a challenge and then never done, and then went. And I think Rue did very much like Rue did the same thing about the Susan Lucci reference and everything. Then I don't think she then gave the win to Pandora, but I think it was then like pat on the head, like here's something you haven't heard before. It's a weird thing. It's also, I always find that it's quite a weird thing to bring up, because you've obviously got like loads of other queens who are like, yeah, we actually never won anything and we were never safe because we actually just went home first. Like, there we go.
I think Kurt made a really good point. So like, yeah, there's no miscongeniality, right? So is that kind of like Jackie being miscongeniality? I didn't even clock that.
That's next week.
Yeah, miscongeniality.
No, it's normally in the finale. Monet Exchange was in the finale, and so was Nina White.
They bring the previous miscongeniality out on stage to present the scepter.
Yeah. But is fan favorite not reunion, or is that just just remembering Valentina, the iconic one?
It's now a
Like,
mixture of both fan favorite and
that's what I
broken.
thought. So fan favorite this episode, Miss Congeniality reunion.
No,
Sorry,
I don't think there is
finale.
fan favorite as such anymore.
Okay, all right, never mind then. Sorry, Luke, what did you want to say?
Yeah, I wish I could remember. It was a really good. It was a really funny. But Jackie's thing. I really. Are you talking about how Rue said that that Jackie had won a challenge? I just thought that was another example of Rue being completely shady all episode long, and I lived for it. Like when she asked Aiden, "How come you only had one wig?" Came out of nowhere and was genius. But if you're talking about the Jackie's lovely letter from the mother, I don't know. I liked that bit as well. I thought that was a nice kind of full circle. I don't know, of her journey, and nice to hear.
Yeah, no, I mean the bit where just like she literally just said like, the one thing I'm gonna say to you I've not said is you've won. You like, but like, what? I didn't really understand what was going on there, to be honest. But no, I thought
it was epic shade. Like, here's something that I would love to say to you that you never heard on my show. Bitch, you won. Oh, but you never did. That's kind of how I took it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I was it was above my head, Luke. It was.
Jackie didn't actually win this episode, right? We understand that bit, right? That
No,
was a joke.
Of course, that's what I mean. But like, I didn't really get the joke. That's what I mean. Like, if she'd like presented her like a reading challenge or something, been like, "You've won," is something I thought I'd never be able to say to you. You've won. Do you know what I mean? Like, then it would have made sense. But maybe it's that the joke was a bit shoehorned in there because it's just like what was I don't know.
Could it be that she was sort of throwing shade at Sherry Pie in a very surreptitious way, where because Sherry won 2 acting challenges, where Jackie did okay, if not top. I'm not sure. I mean, she played the main character in Grey's Anatomy. She was okay. She was top amongst many others. And then in the first improv challenge, she was also in one of the best teams. So maybe it was a way to say, actually, I give you Sherry Pie's wins. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think the joke. I guess the joke didn't work for me. That's my point. But
really.
Yeah. But in regards to the letter thing, no, I thought that was a nice moment. Although I could tell Rue was totally pissed off that she did not cry. I thought that was it. So like she said, like after all of that, like so it was like the letter was read out. It was like emotional background or whatever, and then Jackie said her piece again. Like good, don't like go rock. You don't have to go rock 'em like every single thing that's ever said. But then afterwards, like so, yeah, Jackie like said a response to it, and then all Rue said in response was "That's great," and then just moved immediately on to the next segment because she's just pissed off. She didn't cry, right? That's the only reason. She was fully bitter. Sorry, come on, Bob.
No, I was thinking the exact same. I love that there are a couple of like big emotional bits that Rue was really leading up to. And the thing is, like, Jackie and her mum have spoken about this. So like the letter is kind of like Jackie's kind of like, yeah, I know. It's like it's nice to hear, but this is not like it's not like, you know, in the finales where they like randomly get in someone's mum who's never like who they didn't know did drag, and then like they're suddenly like, oh, I'm so proud of you, and then they cry. Like you could see Rue was like really gearing up for that, and then was sort of like, what do I do with this? Because there was another time when someone else cried, maybe Rockham, and Rue again was like, that's great. You're like, great. I mean, just like A grade empathy going on right there.
I think that Jackie was laughing internally, going, I don't know what to say. Maybe because maybe she could have said, yes, I know about the letter. My mom told me something.
I did think that was funny. Actually, she was segue though onto Rock. I mean, I don't think there's really much to say. Like Rockham's thing was pretty sweet, right? It was a nice little moment. Like Rockham is great. Like she's definitely coming back, not just because the fans want her, but she knows what to give the TV show. To be honest, like that's my only like small bit of like cynicism in me is like Rockham is obviously a massive fan. She plays the game very well. I think it is all genuine, but I wonder if she's like, you know, this is exactly what they want, you know, from me. Like it's opposite to Jackie, right? Like Jackie's probably not going to come back because of not like pandering to these kind of things, whereas Rockham, like any chance she gets to cry, she jumps right in there, like immediately. And I'm like, it's great, it's good TV, and it makes her more like relatable. And we all love her, but I don't know. I don't know. That's my only thing. Go on, Luke.
Kurt's just said that Rue stays young from the tears of queens, so she must have used Heidi's cream.
100%. Go on, Horatio.
Yeah, just something to say about Rockham. I think she definitely should come back for an All Stars because we have missed what a great improv and comedy queen she is. Like, she was volleying really quick when Nikki Doll made that awful read, which she was reading, like literally reading from a piece of paper, and no one understood. She was really quick, and she was like, "Don't worry, everyone, I put it on Google Translate, and it's fine." Like, please, let's have her on All Stars because she's going to be great.
That's it. She's genuinely one of my favorite queens, like, of all time, despite only being on like 4 episodes, however many she was on. Yeah, I'm really excited to see more from her. Okay, so sorry, let me just read my next notes. Oh yeah, okay, so that's the other thing I mentioned earlier. Oh, sorry, go on, Sua.
I would love her to come back as dressed up as the pit crew and then join the cast, you know, like, because Rockham's really muscly. She's have them walking. We've all seen that video. So she's have her walking as the pit crew. Then join. I think that'd be a brilliant way to get her back in.
She'd love that as well. I'll be up for that. So the next thing I want to say was like, I thought Dahlia's segment was a bit weird. Like, I think it was good. She spoke up. Like, she said I can't. You know what my memory's like. What did she say? Like, she said something quite controversial, right? Like,
she was high or something.
No, not that. That was good as well. But I do like Dahlia more than I should. I acknowledge that. But there's something else, like, about like her thoughts on being eliminated or the other queens or something. Oh, that was it. Because that challenge, like, the other team were really shit in that improv challenge, right? Like, her team was better, and like that broccoli's iconic. Like, broccoli's the best thing about this damn season. So, like, I agree. Like, she was quite like aggressive with her view. I know, Horatio. She was quite aggressive with her view about like sending other queens out, like feeling like she was kind of like unfairly in the bottom in that. And I didn't really talk about it. Like, she has some quite strong views, and then one of the queens is like, "Well, what do you want Ruth to do about it?" And then it kind of just ended the segment, and I'm like, "All right, like, you want content for this reunion? Why not talk about this a little bit?" Like, that was literally all Dahlia had all reunion, was that one little bit, and I don't know if it was kind of disappointed. Like, she was like probably the only one who was like up for a bit of a fight, kind of thing, you know, and like. You expect the other queens to like maybe respond to it and be like, I don't know, but no one really said anything because it was kind of true. And then yeah, just one of them said like, "What do you want, Ruth? Ruth can't do anything about it." It's just a bit weird. I don't know. Does anyone have any thoughts on that, or is that just me?
Yeah, I agree, because she was one of the more interesting ones here too, because we hardly seen her on the season. It didn't even address the broccoli thing properly. Like, I was waiting for something to come to a head with it, not like just that head, but something. And like, all we got was you couldn't tell if her twin brother was wearing broccoli. That's what it came to.
But honestly, I think there's nothing to say, because there's no substance to Dahlia saying, "I'm afraid." Thank you, Luke, and thank you, Bob, for nodding. There's no substance. There's nothing beyond the good-looking, if you're into that kind of drag sort of character. I mean, at least Plastic Tiara, there wasn't that much, but she was funny sometimes in the acting challenge. And then all the shade with the but my parents, all of that shit. Like, Dahlia, make something out of your brand. Like, do say something. Like, I know there's not much to do or to say, but they're throwing you lifelines with the fucking broccoli. Say how much you hate it. Even that would be better.
But also, Plastic Tiara is a handsome man and then turns into a beautiful woman, whereas I can't even remember her name. What's her name? Dahlia is a pretty man who puts a little bit of paint on and is still just as pretty a woman. Like, where's the I don't know, I don't see any, like, okay, the wig was good, but like if the looks were stunning, then okay, fine, you're a looks queen, but actually you're just a pretty queen who doesn't do much to me. Sorry, Dahlia.
I agree. Guys, I don't disagree. I don't think she has got a lot of substance to her, but it's more I'm talking about in terms of like, because my point is, like, in terms of reunion, you want like a queen to be like up for a fight kind of thing, like scrappy, and she kind of started that. I mean, didn't really take it anywhere. I'm like, oh, this would have been some actual like decent content, you know. That was my point. But also I do agree, like, there probably wasn't much to say about it, so never mind. I think that's basically all my notes. Oh, okay, now all the Vanjie stuff.
I have something. I've just read Kurt's comment, and that is, Bob is the perfect mix of handsome and smart. Grant is a close second. which is both the nicest and the shadiest comment of the evening.
A little bit backhanded there. I'm really. What would actually be weirdly crushing is if it's like Bob the drag queen. Like it was just implied that that was Bob the drag queen the entire time, and there's me going, "Oh, that's so nice." But no, I also wanted to say on the whole Dahlia thing. Weirdly, I feel like Lee Dawson got it completely right in one of his recaps, where I think he just replaced everything Dahlia said with her being like, when she was on the main stage in her one episode, and when she was just sort of saying "okay" back to the judges, where they're like, "You need to do this," and she was like, "Okay." And like Lee Dawson just had her like saying that for the entire episode, and I didn't really notice a difference. Like it was kind of just her going like, "Okay, yeah, okay," for everything, because like I feel like she's a bit like spaced out, like really really great eye for aesthetics, but I don't think I would. I don't know what I'd get from a show of Dahlia. I'd be like, "Wow, she's so pretty, great."
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, but I must point out that her look was based on Neo Queen Serenity from Sailor Moon. So yes, I mean I think there's more to her than
They're not even her look. I mean, come on.
Well, I guess I know, but it wasn't an exact copy. But I would have clocked it earlier if it was a copy. But again, I think there's more to her. Like I know that's an interesting little thing to do. I think I liked her combo, like in her intro thing of like Banji and like high fashion or whatever. No, not like prettiness or whatever. I don't know. I think she could have been better. I hope she wants back for an All Stars Evolved. I agree. Like she used to work on a lot of things. Okay, I'm sorry everyone. It's just my opinion. I literally don't have any other notes. So, did anything else from Reunion stand out to anyone? Any
Reading
particular
challenge.
segment?
What do you mean? Reading challenge.
I don't think there's anything to really say. Like it was pretty decent. The clips they showed were pretty good. Like I didn't, nothing was like. Sorry. One thing I want to say about it quick is then Luke. Sorry, one sec. Is Widow's bit. Like I do think her read was really funny. Like R. Kelly wouldn't even cuss you, but like actually same for most of the reads. Like most of the reads could have been applied to anyone. Like that wasn't a read specific to Gigi. Maybe she just said it because Gigi's like in the top, so she thought a comment would get on, which just didn't really make. I know a lot of the other reads as well, which is kind of like they're all too nice. I think like a lot of the other reads were quite generic. Could have been said to anyone. That's kind of my only criticism, really. Go on, Luke.
It seems to me, because it was such a small length of time, it seems to me like they might have said, "Oh, does anyone have any reads, by the way?" and sort of spit them out. I don't know that every queen did every single one, because that would be lots of. Actually, that's 12 queens times 11 reads, so that's many reads. So actually, I don't think it was. They had as much to select to edit, basically, but based on what they would normally do. So maybe that's why it was a bit lackluster. But I'm really glad they at least did the reading challenge, because come on, it's RuPaul's Drag Race in a season. You need to do the reading challenge, because reading is what? Fundamental.
Fundamental.
I mean, right? If you don't have the fundamentals in there, then what the fuck are you doing?
I just want to quickly say, I feel like Omar's just read us the film. He said we can all think of people who are great, fun people, but in front of a camera, most of us would be boring AF. Very, very hurtful. Horatio, do you want to go? Do you have your hand up?
Yeah, just thinking that maybe it did exist, the reading challenge, because there was a noticeable absence of mini challenges this season. Maybe they did do it, but because of whatever reason to do with Sherry Pie, maybe because of one of the reads aimed at Sherry Pie, or because maybe of one of her own reads, they couldn't air it for whatever reasons. I'm thinking that because it's odd that there was no reading challenge. So I think that probably is what happened, and we will never know what happens. Maybe some of them will say, maybe whoever was involved, and then they just did it now, which we should be grateful for, shouldn't we?
I'm very, very grateful. Kurt had a question. What do you think about there being 5 lip sync songs for the finale? Any ideas, anyone?
What are they?
I can't work out the logistics of it. I'm trying to get, unless it's like each queen has one song each, and then which is 3 of them, and then like there's like I don't know. Luke might have a better idea on this, and I'll probably agree with it.
Oh, I love you for that, Bob. So my theory is, if there's queens A, B, and C. Actually, they've just got names, so I might as well just use their names. If Crystal has a song that she has to lip sync against Gigi, and Crystal has a song that she has to lip sync against Jada, that's 2. And then Gigi and Jada have a third one, and then maybe that, I don't know, maybe they get rankings or something, and then maybe the top two who come together at the end, maybe they each have to do 2 songs, like the same 2 songs together, and then it's like an overall extravaganza.
Or to add to that, there might be a 3-way lip sync, which would make the 5.
Well, like my only thoughts are maybe because Rue kept repeating it literally like anyone could win kind of thing. I don't know if he said exactly. It was kind of like that, right? He said basically insinuated, yeah, like it's anyone's game kind of thing, and it showed clips of like queens who weren't in the top 4. So I'm wondering whether there's going to be some sort of lip sync. You know, like was it in All Stars, right? Yeah, it was, where they could lip sync battle for a chance to come back kind of thing. Maybe something like that to like replace Sherry. So that's all I was thinking.
Team Aiden.
Sorry, Luke, do you want to say something, or are you just like blown your mind by? This is why I have this channel. I am a genius.
So actually, all I did was this. But now that you've given me the mic or whatever, what's that called?
Screen time.
Thank you. I'm now going to say goodbye because my laptop's about to die. But the laptop works much better, and I'm going to do it by laptop from now on. So thank you all. Thank you in the comments as well. It's been my pleasure. See you later.
Take care, baby. Bye. Bye.
So yeah, does anyone else have anything they want to add? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, who's top 2 now? Like, I think now we have to duke it out for who's going to be our top 2.
It better be fucking Crystal. No. I dyed my hair blue and green and painted my face pink, orange, and yellow, and which didn't show up on camera. So Crystal better fucking win.
It's 100% Crystal. 100%.
I haven't even had a shower, so you win.
The top 2 for me was Jan, actually. That was the top 2 for me.
Hiroshi was saying between us.
Oh, between us. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'd say me.
Okay, yeah, never mind. So
I'm confused. Bye, guys, confused. Typical.
Two votes for Suter, 1 vote for Horatio. So Suter, you won. Your top 2 of the week. Well, Crystal. You was Crystal.
What, me?
Yeah.
Oh, cheers, thank you.
There you go. I feel like I really like that hair color, by the way. Now seeing it in motion, especially, it looks really cool. I'm into it.
I know.
I
don't know.
I like it.
I thought it was, if it all came out one color, but it's like I'm like merman at the moment.
No, I prefer that. I used to do that. If you check out, your friends on Facebook, check out my old pictures. I used to like go for that hair color. Like my favorite color was green. I used to be able to do that, but never mind. Happier times.
I love having green. I like green hair. I wish I didn't do it blue now. I wish I just kept it green.
I like green, but blue is good as well. So sorry, before we move on to this, anyone have anything else they want to say specifically about any partner reunion? Like anything we've missed out, we haven't talked about? Anyone wants to talk about? What's the tease?
Can we do CUNTs this week, or can you apply that this week?
I don't think so. We'd be reaching if we did, right?
Because I want to give nerve to Rue because she called Gigi the most unique contestant. When she was saying at the end, she was like going for Crystal, and she went, "You're the most unique." I was like, "You cannot just talk to Crystal, then call Gigi unique."
Oh yeah, maybe the thing about Gigi and Crystal being a thing, being an item, that answered.
No.
Yeah.
But they addressed it on social media previously, right? I'm sure
they
said
they were asked
really
specifically, and they didn't really say yes or no.
No, but I'm saying because in social media previously they said, like, one of them said like it was just a fan base kind of thing. I'm sure that's the case. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But so yeah. Sorry. Anything else? Any other points? All right. Cool. Okay, so like,
sorry to go back to Dahlia. Sorry to be a pain, but so because she's been a piece of broccoli every episode, is she coming back next season? Do you think? Well, whether you want her to or not, like, because I find her, I don't think she's made an impact enough like Vanjie to actually come back. Like Vanjie was a one-in-a-time miracle for first person going out. Like,
yeah, I agree. It's just they want to make her a Vanjie. But you cannot make a Vanjie.
You can't fabricate it.
It's because you hated that bit, Horatio, but I think it was really funny. I loved it.
Well, whether you like it or not, they have been pushing for it.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think it's like anything to do with Vanjie.
I like Kurt's recommendation, people. Kurt has recommended that Bob and Grant go shirtless for the finale, and I agree.
Not after.
Nobody needs that on my side. You don't need that.
I've not been to the gym
You're
for
fine.
2 months. That's not going to be the tea for me, I'm afraid. Sorry, Bob, what were you going to say?
I was going to say with the whole forcing of Angie, they kind of, I think, tried doing that with Cynthia Lee Fontaine. Like, obviously that's pre-Angie, but like I think they did try really forcing Cynthia Lee Fontaine on us to the point where we were like, but we just don't want it. And then they were just lucky that, you know, the season after they happened upon Vanjie. Like, that was completely by chance. Like, that shouldn't have happened. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like they are probably a bit desperate to like keep that loop going of having people coming back. So I don't know, because I mean, she is probably the only person they do that to, like first out, all that kind of stuff. But
They should just do a
I don't know. Like yeah, I mean, and considering we've got like all stars with people who were quite low down in their season, like I don't know if maybe, I don't know. I just feel like maybe it'd be more deserved there. But even then, I'm not massively excited to see what, like, because her looks were great. It's just like I wouldn't pay to see her show, and I don't think that would have changed between a season.
I find it odd.
Bob, I'm pissed off that you brought Cynthia back and you've like fully triggered me. You made me very sad now. Everyone in the chat's still talking about it.
You want to see Michael Cool again?
Oh my god!
Bob, I love your voice, but don't do Cynthia impression.
I'm all about it. And then I saw like a GIF or GIF, however the hell you pronounce it, earlier, a meme of her like turning around at the beginning of season 9, and I just remember everyone being like, "Why?"
Do you remember when that happened? We were all guessing, trying to guess who is it? None of us guessed Cynthia because we all guessed all these queens. I go. Do you remember when that? Because what season was that? That was the one with Shay, wasn't it? Yeah, season 9. And do you remember we were like, who could this be? And we were going through every queen, and then like, oh, Cynthia. Yay.
And you never want it to be that kind of reaction, right? Like, it should be the opposite, where you have like, you're like, oh, who could this be? And you're pleasantly surprised because it's someone you never would have thought of, but who is amazing. Like, if like with the All Stars 5 thing, like the twist that they put in the trailer, I don't know, go into it just in case I don't know if people have watched it, but you don't want the surprise thing to be like, oh, here's a queen we didn't want. You want it to be like, my expectations were kind of low to middling, and it was Willem, right? You want someone like out of the box who would be quite interesting.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Should we want recommendations? Okay, everyone looks unhappy, but go on, Horatio, you can start.
There's a very nice documentary on Netflix called Circle of Books. Circle of Books? Oh, yeah.
Circus.
Circus of Books. Yes, sorry. Thank you, Suriken. So it's about this porn store in Los Angeles, which is run by a straight couple, or was run by a straight couple for many decades, and became sort of a landmark of gay life in LA. And it is narrated from the point of view of one of the children of said couple, and it's just very interesting. And it touches on religion, and it touches on coming out, and it touches on law, and what is deemed legal or not legal, and all of that. And it's just very nice, and it features Alaska, because Alaska as a boy was an employer there. So I recommend Circus Books.
That's on my list. I've been meaning to watch that. My recommendation is a game called Monster Train. They came out on Steam yesterday, I think. It's very, very, very good. It's very similar to Slay the Spire, and I've played like every game in that genre. It's kind of my addiction at the moment. But Monster Train is like definitely the best game I played since Slay the Spire. It's like one of those kind of games. Like, it's like a card roguelike battler deck building game. It sounds really lame, but it's super fun. Just check it out on Steam if you're bored and you want a game to play with. It's not super expensive. Yeah. You guys, anything you wanted to recommend?
No, but Kurt can thirst over me if he wants. Like, we are open, me and my boyfriend. So don't worry. Just thirst over me, please.
Kurt, this is a first stream. Let's be fair. I
any
recommend Beastars. It's not just for furries.
oh God.
It's actually really good. The social commentary on it's amazing, and it really makes you. It's although it's all got the anthropomorphic animals, Beastars. It really makes you realize your privilege, and the way they use the small bunny girl and the wolf guy to demonstrate it's really good. It's not just for furries, and I just fast forward anytime they take their shirts off because that's just weird. But it's really good. Beastars.
Where is it? Netflix?
Yeah, it's season 1's on Netflix. It's really good. It's really gory as well, which is cool. It's like basically animals have evolved like humans, but they haven't done it all. Like the wolf people, they actually want to eat the animals. It's really basically they've substituted this idea of animal carnage and primal instinct. It's like a metaphor for drug and rape abuse, but it's also about privilege because the main character purposely tries to be weaker and. So it's really cool. You've got to watch it to get what I'm saying, but it's a really cleverly positioned program, and it's a manga. If you finish it and you can finish reading the manga. I'm sorry, I'm being an asshole and chatting. I like all my energy sort of gone zoom into one spot. Sorry if I'm going to keep myself muted now.
No, you're fine.
Oh no, don't worry.
You sound interesting. I'm actually just Chris, who's been on streams and stuff before. It was on last week, right? He recommended an anime called High Score Girl. That started the first episode. I watched the first episode yesterday, and it's pretty good. It's like set in the 90s around like arcades and stuff, and it's pretty funny. It's supposed to be really good, so I'm going to carry on with that. But I might check that out afterwards too. It definitely sounds interesting. Bob, do you want to go?
Oh yeah, my only recommendation was just the final season of Schitt's Creek is out. I literally only kind of got on the Schitt's Creek train like a week and a half ago, so I've watched all 6 seasons in like a week and a half. And like I don't know if it was just like sleep deprivation or it being really warm or it being furlough, but I just like wept like a moment. It's so good. I love it.
I'm definitely going to watch it. I've seen the other scenes. I do like it, but I do think Schitt's Creek's a bit overhyped. I don't get why everyone loves it as much as they do. Like it's pretty funny, and I don't know. I don't get why everyone loves it so much. I'll watch it, but yeah. I just want to read out Omar's recommendations as well. He recommends a new anime called Tower of God. He says it's really good, and he also recommends the movie Invisible Man, which is surprisingly super good, and I completely share that sentiment. I think it's a very good film. Kurt, you need to calm down. So I was just trying to catch all the comments, but literally just all first comments, which I appreciate. So I think that's it, right? Anything else anyone wants to say? Are we all good?
Well, I can't show it because it'll get demonetized, but my boxers have little shady palm trees on them today.
Do they? That's amazing.
Honest to God. I would stand up, but I don't want you to get demonetized.
Show a little bit of butt. That'd be fine. Come for Kurt. He deserves it.
I'm not doing this.
No, I don't want to like.
I'm in a woman's outfit at the moment. I am not stripping. I am not one of your little French girls.
You're selling me the full fantasy, and I appreciate that. You help me get the movie.
But do you really want the tagline where it's always shady associated with your crotch?
I don't mind.
Like
I've done plenty of things under a palm tree, so I got a palm tree in my back garden, trust me. I've actually got I need to take a photo. I got a palm tree in my garden. It's like huge now. It's been there for like 20 years.
So take like a selfie, like really far away, landscape, and then superimpose us all in under the palm tree. I'd love that for us.
That is so cool. I almost did a picture of all of us. I was going to do everyone with a Pokemon underneath a palm tree, and the palm tree was going to be the Alolan Executor.
Oh, that's good. I'm down for that.
And I'm really tempted to, but my motivation is, you'd be surprised. I know I seem like this really hyper person because I have really bad anxiety. I'm half the time I'm just crippled, sitting there, not doing anything. And that's why I'm so hyper now. It's like I get to channel all my happiness into something.
Oh, no, it's good. It's good. You're bringing the energy. What was I going to say?
To meet my mum.
Oh, is your mum here again? What did you say?
I keep forgetting to mute my mic. I won't shut up if I don't mute my mic.
I thought you said your mum. Okay, wait. So right, we're done, guys, right? Cool. Okay, so Another hour-long Zoom episode tomorrow, but I mean, it's exciting to see where it goes, what happens with it. So yeah, join us next week, and we'll share our thoughts there, and also quiz tomorrow. I think we're doing it at 7. So it probably won't work out at 7 because it's this channel, but tomorrow evening, another Yaz quiz, seasons 5 to 8 or 5 to 9, if I remember
8.
correctly. Okay,
8,
5 to 8, cool. I think it's 5 to 8, yeah.
And Bob is not playing, so this is your opportunity, everyone, to win.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Actually, no, unless Kurt plays, then everyone's still fucked, to be honest. So yeah, join us then if you fancy it. Join us next week after the finale. If not, thanks for joining if you did or watching it later. Yeah, that's it really. Hope you have a nice time until tomorrow, a nice evening and Sunday daytime, and we'll see you then hopefully. Right?
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys. Love you loads, guys. Take care.
Love you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.